we need to start thinking how we'll not just be making money based on our effort alone, but should making money from what we build. Funny enough, Dangote is into real estate, whether we like it or not.
How central is real estate to Nigeria actually producing the next generation of billionaire class industrialists?
If you are seeing us for the first time, this is a show where we sit and discuss the future of industrialization with young and successful entrepreneurs who are currently working and building the economy of our great nation, Nigeria. Today, we are going to be talking about the richest man in Africa, who is from Nigeria, Aliko Dangote. He did not just build businesses, he also built industries, talking about the cement industry, food industry, and currently the oil and gas industry. I am forced to say he is a working economic policy. Now, here is my question, and I want you to really think about this. Why do we only have one of him?
Because we've seen people, even with government indiscipline, actually crashes what they build.
Nigeria population is over 200 million. We have land, we have resources. What is it going to take to not just produce 1 or 3, but more than 10 Dangotes, industrialists who are going to reshape the entire sector of the economy? Our guest today is a giant in the real estate industry. He is someone that has refused to wait for government to fix the problems in this industry. And our guest today is a future industrialist.
The real industrialists will emanate from people who are actually solving problems with the skill or the business they are doing.
Complete the sentence. Nigeria will produce more than 10 Dangote when?
You go too.
Thank you very much for having us here today, Mr. K. Briefly, can you introduce yourself and tell us more about you? What do you do, sir?
You're welcome once more, Miracle. Like you already know, I'm Kelly Eriamatoe, and popularly known as Mr. K, the landlord maker. Just like the name implies, our goal is to make as many persons landowners in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole. And in Edo State, our goal is to make sure every family in Edo State own at least a 450 square meter, which is popularly known as 50 by 100 in the South-South region. At least every family should have a stake in the state. And my goals will be expanding to others. Apart from the fact that we're into real estate development, I'm also a wealth and investment coach. So we teach people about wealth creation and how to make proper investment, especially investment in real estate.
Personally, I would love to become a landowner too in the south side of
Nigeria. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So,
No problem.
properly, before we go into the main topic of today, we would love to know, while you were growing up, what was your relationship with money like? And also, was building something big, something massive as the real estate industry in your train of thought while growing up?
Why I decided I was going to make money was because of my encounter or the opportunity I had. I think I was just 13 years old then when I heard about network marketing. I just finished SS3.
That was really...
Yeah, so I heard about network marketing, and then I went for their seminar, I went for their training, and then they were teaching about money, how you can be your own boss, discouraging us about any salary. And then that was when I decided that I was going to own my own business. I didn't think of real estate then though. All right, so I read this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then that also built my mindset about money. That book gave me my first financial education. So I went to learn a skill. All right, I learned a phone repair skill, And then in my mind, I thought I was going to actually have a phone. Should I use the word phone empire? I thought the business I was going to do was actually in the technological industry. I was thinking I was going to sell phone and repair phones. So I was focused. All through my days in school, I did phone repair. At some point, I did several other businesses. At a point, I also did. I went into the food industry. So when I started, I had this dream that I was going to have the next biggest Matais, biggest GT in Benin City, And but I did not go that other plans for me. So when I stumbled upon real estate, I discovered in a month I made 200,000 naira.
Wow.
I don't know. My first month I made 130,000 naira out of 150k target I set to myself. Then I think another month I made like 200k, and that was how the desire to do real estate started. I did research. I went for mentorship. All right, I worked with several estate companies, and then before we started ours.
I thank you very much. You've always had the desire of being the biggest in anything you do.
Yeah.
For example, the phone repair industry, you had the desire to be the biggest, the food industry, the biggest.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. K. Real estate as an economic model.
Yeah.
Dangote Empire is built on industries that touch every Nigerian, like the cement industry, the food industry, and the energy industry. Real estate does the same thing. Every factory, every school, every home needs
Yeah.
land and structure. Now, in your own view, how central is real estate to Nigeria actually producing the next generation of billionaire class industrialists?
Okay. Developers only focus on just building houses for people and selling these houses. The time will come, they will no longer make money from that estate except for service charges in the estate. But if developers can find a way to making sure that each estate they are building is solving a problem, they will continually make money from the estate even after they've sold out the houses or the landed property. What do I mean? For example, we are currently building an estate in Benin City
Okay.
that has an agricultural section, that has an industrial section, that has a commercial section, as well as a residential section. And then it also has a recreational section in one community.
Wow.
So you see that it's solving a lot of problem already. First of all, it's solving food scarcity problem. It's solving job creation, that's the industrial part. And it's solving the housing deficit in the states, as well as it provides fun and relaxation environments. You understand? So these are problems that the estate is solving. We're calling the estate the Edo Agro City. Agro City, yeah. So if developers can start thinking towards this direction, that real estate is more than just selling land. You know, we need to start thinking of how we'll not just be making money based on our effort alone, but should be making money from what we built. And that is how industrialists emerge. All right? I'm glad you actually asked that question. Because funny enough, Dangote is into real estate, whether we like it or not.
Very true.
All these industries are centered on real estate. They solve the housing issues, all right, and then they solve real problems. All right, the cement is infrastructure. He has agricultural investment. He also has energy. He has oil as well. So he's solving real issues and still making money off real estate. So it's that time we stop thinking as just people that want to sell land and start thinking as industrialists to solve real problems.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. K.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's really very insightful. So, moving on to the next question, the Dangote blueprint. Now, let's talk about Dangote specifically.
Okay.
Some people say it succeeded because of government connections. Others say it is pure discipline and scale of thinking.
All right.
So, from your own perspective, from your own experience as a CEO, what do you think is the actual blueprint, and can it be replicated?
Okay, I'll say it's both.
Okay.
Because we've seen people, even with government partnership or government policies favoring them, indiscipline actually crashes what they've built or what they're trying to build. All right. There's a principle, there's a parable that says the discipline that you did not build will cost you the money that you've made. Do you understand? So I would say discipline and government partnership has actually helped. All right. For example, is refinery you just built. The government has a large stake in the refinery. All right, and I'm very sure that they will also be making policies that will favor his business as well. So it makes his business to grow. All right, and so I would say both discipline and government partnership.
Thank you very much. So, in order for us to replicate industrialists like Dangote, it is beyond just government connections, and it is also beyond discipline. You need to have discipline, but you also need to have the government partnership or connection,
Yeah.
as the case may be. Thank you very much, Mr. K. So,
But sorry, let me put a balance to that.
all right.
But you should not say because you don't have government connection, government partnership, you shouldn't start. All right, if you want to start something or you have desire to do something, you have desire to change the world, start. All right, as a Christian, we believe the Bible says, and Gentiles will come to your light, and kings will come to the brightness of your rising. So when you are starting, you may just attract Gentiles. I'm very sure when Dangote started, he didn't have government partnership. But as he kept on going and his light kept on shining, he started attracting foreign investors, he started attracting government attention and the rest. So start with your industrial revolution, and as time goes on, you attract kings, and then you attract foreign investors and also
Yeah,
government
I
connection.
was also going to ask before I proceed.
Yeah.
Thank God that you just balance the scale. I was going to ask for those that actually wish to scale, for
Yeah.
those industrialists that actually wish to scale and do not have this because the truth is not everybody has government connections.
True.
But many persons have the discipline or they now that government connection. I was going to ask you, what is your word of advice to those persons that they have the discipline but they don't have any connections?
It's just stay consistent. Just stay consistent. It's a natural law of success and process. And I was listening to, is it Cosmos Maduka's story on how he actually got a very huge contract from the government. He was not planning that day. I'm not sure, according to him, it was not on his plan. But when he saw the notice board, the signboard, he was like, okay, this is an opportunity that we can actually take advantage of. And that was he was going to the airport before that day. He left his journey. I went to the government office and told them this particular problem that you people have, I can actually solve it. And then that was he got his big break. I don't want to go into much details. The story is online. And now he got his big break. He was not even planning for it at that point in time. But when he saw it, he knew that was the opportunity. So you don't have to be waiting for government connection. You don't have to wait for your family to be in government. As you don't have to wait until you even have to contest. No, just be consistent. All right, be consistent at the right time. If you need government connection or government partnership to grow, God will make it happen. But if you don't need it and you have foreign investors, you have local investors that are investing in your business, I mean, the sky is just your starting point.
All right, thank you very much. Now, another problem is the mindset problem. The mindset problem. Young entrepreneurs having the wrong mindset is also another problem. Now, here's something I think about a lot. Is our biggest problem in Nigeria
Okay.
structure or is it mindset? Because I see so many smart, hardworking Nigerians, but very few are thinking at an industry building scale.
Most people, when they're about to start a business, they start that business with the mindset that they had growing up. Just like the Bible said that you must renew your mind. That is how you should renew your mind when it comes to wealth creation or building at an industrialist scale. All right, if you are going to build a global brand, you need to know how to think global. Pay for the trainings, travel, go and learn how people are changing the world, and they come back and replicate in your own business. If you are just in one small place, in Siloko Road, you are doing business, there's no way you can grow big. You keep on doing things small, except you're actually exposed.
Okay, now, talking about exposure,
Yeah.
you said you went to Qatar
Yeah.
for the Edo City.
Edo Agro City, yeah.
Qatar was the exposure you needed to
Yeah.
establish that estate.
Yeah.
But there are many young entrepreneurs that do not have this money. They don't have the resources rather.
They should go for exposure they can actually afford. Exposure, all right, exposure can come in many forms. I mentioned mentorship. All right, if you cannot go for mentorship, get books, read books, go online, do research, understand how the world is evolving. Right now, we're talking about AI in business. If the future of entrepreneurship, the future of business in Africa or in the world right now is if you are not using AI, you'll be outdated. If you are not using AI to help your business, you'll be outdated, you'll lose customers, you'll be slow, you'll be left behind. For example, when we're about to enter into the era of computers, those that were using typewriters, all right, those that were big people in typewriters, they felt superior, they felt like kings. And some of them, so exposure is one thing that I consider that builds your mindset, that sets your mind properly for the right path.
Let's talk about the environment. Access to capital is a major issue.
Okay.
Interest rates are brutal. If you go to the bank to collect loan, the interest rate is very, very brutal. And land acquisition is a nightmare. If you were advising the federal government today on which one policy would change or would unlock a new class of Nigerian industrialists, which policy would it be?
If I were advise the Nigerian government or federal government to work on anything, I think I would just tell them to work on the basic infrastructures that are needed for businesses to thrive. For example, electricity. For example, good road network. For example, security. If they can improve on this, have policies that talk about, or have policies that governs security. In short, some people, because of bad roads, they decide not to go to farm anymore. For example, in the real estate industry, the reason why it's difficult for us to actually penetrate some areas is because there's no accessibility, no good road, no security in those regions. Imagine we just mentioned some axes in Edo State that we have property in this axis, want to go and develop. It's only us that will be in that place. Nobody will come. So that is why we are encouraging, we are advising, not encouraging, we are advising that the government pay attention to our basic amenities, electricity, infrastructure, good road, security. Leave the rest for the private sector. Yeah, we'll handle it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr.
Yeah.
I also asked access to capital. Interest rates these days, they are very brutal.
Okay. Yeah, that is true.
Land acquisition these days is also something else. So please, can you lay more emphasis on
that? Let me try to get your question very well. Are you saying that people want to borrow money to buy land and property?
No.
Or borrow money to start a business?
To start a business, you need loan.
Okay.
So you need capital.
Who told you that the only way to raise capital is to take loan? I thought the only way to raise capital was actually to get loan from friends or bank. Funny enough, nobody answered me when I needed the loan. And that made me to, I read a book that period that changed my mindset. See, everything goes back to exposure. One way to get exposure is from reading. I read a book by Robert Kiyosaki, Business of the 21st Century. One way to get capital, I'm doing this so that to encourage viewers out there to go and read, to search for knowledge. Because I would say it is the glory of God to hide things and the honor of kings to search it. So if you are going to be a king in your industry, you have to be a ardent student you have to be a ardent student, you have to be researching good. So one of the ways to raise capital is you raise capital from the product you are selling, from your customers. Okay. And many people overlook this now, underestimate this. You have a product you want to sell, you have an idea you want to sell, then sell it. In short, when it comes to selling, the least way to sell is to sell a product. If all you can sell is a product, you're not a good salesman. You should be able to sell the idea of a thing in such a way that you can raise capital from that idea and use that capital to develop your product. That was how we started Eriamatoe. We started selling the idea that we want to open an estate in this area. This is the feature of the estate. This is what we want to do. And then we started getting investors. And then we met the community. We didn't have money when we approached the community. We told them this is the idea we have, this is what we want to do here. At first, they didn't want to agree, but after enough negotiation, after selling the idea to them, they bought the idea. And then we started taking investors. They saw the place, they loved the place, even if it was not looking like it. All right? And we were able to raise money. But many entrepreneurs do not want to go through that level. They are looking for is going to give them 20 million, 100 million to start. All right. Meanwhile, they don't even have any experience on how to work with the money. Now, let me ask you a question. What now happens if the business fails? Because most people feel if you borrow money to start a business, the business will not fail. It will be successful. It's a lie. So what happens when it fails? What will you do? You'll be bankrupt and then you'll be in debt.
True.
And many persons' hand has been burnt before, so they will not want to invest in a startup. You need proof. So learn to sell the idea of a thing, to raise capital, then use the capital to fund your product. It works every time and anywhere.
For that. And as I said when I was asking my question
Yeah.
about land acquisition being a nightmare.
Land acquisition is not really a nightmare.
For industrialists.
Okay.
Like people that are trying to scale up to the industrial level.
You should have done your research before you actually ask that question. Land acquisition is not actually a nightmare if you know how to go through the right source. Most people do not understand how land is acquired. There are processes. That's what they call due diligence before you acquire property. And the truth is, most people are not even willing to do proper due diligence. They just want already made. And that's why they actually have the nightmare that you're talking about. Because we have more than 10 selling estates in Benin and 1 in Abuja. It's not a nightmare for us.
Right.
The only challenge that we have is maybe accessibility sometimes to these locations, and the fact that we have to spend money in developing them. But when it comes to land acquisition in itself, if you follow through the right sources, it's not really a nightmare. And that's why we, as a real estate company, we are trying to change the narrative people have concerning land acquisition, especially in the south and in Benin City, that there's land grabbing. Yes, we know there is land grabbing. It's because most times they don't go through the right channel before buying the property. They just say, this place is cheap, it's in a good location, and you rush to buy. And then they enter into trouble. But if you do business through us, we'll help you secure the property, and you have peace of mind. You don't have nightmare, you have sweet dreams. All right, and let me correct the notion that you say entrepreneurs are not industrialists. First of all, it's mindset thing. All right, before this industrialist became the industrialist, the way you are saying it, like you said, they are the highest echelon. They started from starting a business, most of them from scratch. So at the highest peak of wherever they are still entrepreneurs. Or whether they are just starting or they are already there. Okay, you can start with an industrialist mentality, and then you grew to that highest echelon, all right, in the ladder. And if they want to acquire properties, there are right ways to go about it. It's just for you to meet the host community, tell them this is the vision we have. You let them know about your reputation, and then tell them this is what you want to do in the community. Many communities will be glad to welcome you because there's no job, and then you are coming to build an industry in their community. You are providing job already for them. Are you understanding? So there's no community that is sensible in this 21st century that will not welcome any or company that is coming to, even as real estate company. By the time we tell them this is our plan, this is what we've done, this is what we're planning to do here, they welcome us with open arms. Where their challenge is that most times after acquiring this portion of land, they don't develop it. And then these communities start having issues and start telling them they want to take portion of the property, and the rest is history. So it's actually not a nightmare per se. And they are already, if you read I don't think there's any special policy that should be written concerning land acquisition. If you want to get a property, work with your lawyer, or work with a trusted and reliable real estate firm, and it will be an issue. Your job is not to go and find property. Your job as an entrepreneur is to set the pace. This is the vision you have, and then get people to do the job for you. It's not really a nightmare.
All right.
Although in Nigeria, there's a challenge of land grabbing most times. And after buying, maybe the community has agreed to sell, let's say, 1,000 acres for you, not knowing what they signed because of the first excitement they have. Or they feel, okay, maybe the amount they sold is actually little, or what they are going to get is little. Sometimes they not try to come and grab the land. Right? I feel you can actually come to an understanding with them to know what they want.
Spoken extensively
Yeah.
on that topic. Thank you very much. So now progressing, we're going to talk about the next generation.
Okay.
The next generation. Now, the youth in Nigeria, Gen Z, the young millennials, they are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
They are hungry. but a lot of them are going into tech, into content, into quick money sectors. Do you think the next Dangote is going to come from real estate, from manufacturing, or from somewhere that we are never looking at?
Real industrialists will emerge from people who are actually solving problems with the skill or the business they are doing. All right, and you should not just focus on one thing alone. You have to learn diversification early. You take a look at Elon Musk that was just made a trillionaire recently. Check out his businesses. He's solving real problems. He's making money from it. Most especially the SpaceX. That's one of the most expensive problems he's solving for billionaires, and he's making their money. So if you industrialists will emerge from people who are actually solving real problems. For me, I feel Africa's main problem right now is hunger. And that is what Dangote is actually solving. Check his companies. He has sugar, he has flour, he has spaghetti, he has the food industry. Yeah, in short, he's more of an agro company. That is Africa's main problem, and we are not looking at that area. The industrialists in Africa will not emerge from tech. Tech is there, all right? They will not just emerge from tech. Will not emerge from content creators. But people that content creators that will get hungry. People that will actually solve the hunger problem in Africa, the insecurity problem. These are the realistic problems we are seeing in Africa. The reason why the West can think of tech AI is because they have solved insecurity. They've solved hunger to a large extent. In Africa, that is a major problem. Funny how politicians actually ride on it, but that is not the reason why we're having the discussion. If we can solve the main problem for Africans, housing deficit, agricultural problem, insecurity problem, you become an industrialist. You will not just create jobs for people, but you're actually solving people's real problems. Yeah. And that is why we're actually trying to see how we can diversify into agriculture, although we also have a tech company. All right, so anyways, it will be unveiled.
I want you to be real with me.
Okay, go ahead.
What has been the single hardest moment in building your company? The moment that you almost quit, and what kept you going? Why did you continue? Why did you not just give up and close up?
Okay, I think this challenge is actually not just peculiar to our industry or to me alone. All right, it's a challenge that is not every industrialist, every entrepreneur experience, and that is finance. If there's no finance, you cannot actually actualize your vision or your dream. And that is why every day we keep on selling. We keep on selling to make sure we raise money. Hopefully, someday we'll get angel investors that will be patient with their investment. Because people that want to make investment with you, they want quick money, they want quick returns. But if you can get patient investors to grow your company, then the sky is your starting point. All right, so I think our hardest challenge has really been getting enough finance because our vision for our estates are huge. For example, the Edo Agro-City, if we're really going to do that project within the next 5 years, to cost us close to $1 billion for us to actually achieve that project. Where do we get the $1 billion from? If we have the money now available, it would have been done already. And that is why it's taking time for us. And I want to use this moment to also appeal to clients that may be saying this. We're actually trying our best to make sure that what we've promised in each of our estates, we bring it to reality little by little. But because we don't have access to enough funds and capital and even the money we sell the properties for you, we really want to charge them for it. The money we're charging them is actually not enough because we're actually underpriced because we want people to be involved in the vision. All right, and we know it's for an appointed time and it will come. It may look as if it's tiring, but when it comes, it's no longer tiring anymore.
The one book every Nigerian CEO must read.
Okay, one book I would recommend for every Nigerian CEO is Billionaire Mindset. All right, this book will help build your mind, and you can start thinking at the level of an industrialist. All right, not just a startup entrepreneur rather, to give you a bigger perspective of wealth creation, a better perspective of it, to build your mind for the kind of industry or the kind of for the kind of money you're about to create, or wealth you're about to create rather. If I'm to recommend that book, I have a book written, Skill of 21st Century, and The Laws of Real Estate Wealth. I actually wrote down this book based on my little experience and the experience of others, my mentors and role models. I've studied their life path, and I know these are the things that actually work for them. And that's why I'm also recommending it. You can read The Skill of 21st Century and Laws of Real Estate Wealth. I actually wrote those two books.
All right. Your current grade for Nigeria's business environment currently.
The Nigerian business environment is not friendly.
So that's an F.
So I can say we'll just put an. I want to put a D. The reason I'll put a D is because the unfriendly environment is business to some people. Some people actually profit from the unfriendly environment. For example, lack of electricity. People profit from solar. People are profiting from generator business.
Sure.
So the insecurity we're having, people are profiting from kidnapping. You can see.
Very, very
so we're actually praying that the government can try to look into this so that entrepreneurship will be a much more easier journey for us.
All right. So the next question, please. If you could have dinner with one Nigeria industrialist, living or dead, who is it gonna be?
I'll say Otedola.
Otedola.
The reason why I will say that is I want to know how he builds relationship with fellow like minds. All right, it's usually not very easy to do that. And I will also, if I'm to also add another person, I will say Tony Elumelu. You know, these are people that I actually look up to a lot, and I like their pattern, the way they keep relationship.
All right, thank you very much. Now the last question for the day.
Okay.
The last one of the list. Complete the sentence. Nigeria will produce more than 10 Dangote. When?
He go too.
Having more than 10 Dangotes is actually not a dream, but a decision. And conversations like this are what breeds that decision. If you watched to the end, thank you very much and see you on the next one. If you are a founder, a CEO, or someone that is currently building something in Nigeria right now, I want to hear from you. What sector do you think Nigeria's next Dangote is coming from? Drop your comments below.